that a listener from up on the Sunshine Coast
Yes.
sent me. So he said, can you ask Madonna this? And I said, of course I can. Well, the effects of hormone reversal as we age. Now, for instance, he wants to know how women get facial hair and men suffer from prostate problems and they get man boobs because of more estrogen.
Yeah.
Man boobs. Yeah.
There's estrogen and there's estrogen. The same way there are statistics, and dance statistics. So basically there's lots of different types of estrogen. So good, healthy estrogen is good for us. And you do know that men and women, we all make progesterone, estrogen, testosterone. So we all make all the hormones, but obviously men generally make more testosterone.
Yes.
Women generally make more estrogen and progesterone. When women are starting to get facial hair and excess, it can end up being on their chests, it can end up being on their back as well. So women can get, and that you can notice it on their forearms a lot of the time.
Oh.
So they can really start, what ends up happening is the liver, there's a particular pathway in the liver that's called the glucuronidation pathway, and that pathway gets more and more blocked as we get older. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things about that pathway is that it deals with estrogens, testosterones, androgens, so a lot of our hormones, but it also deals with things like xenobiotics, so antibiotics that are in our foods and water supplies and things like that. It also deals with pesticides and herbicides. So it deals with a lot of stuff that are just really out there in our environment that we're dealing with every day from our food and water supplies.
Yeah, things like the body does not like.
Yeah. Well, 10,000 years ago, the body didn't have to deal with them. So these days, those pathways of the liver are getting more and more chock-a-block. Mm-hmm. So people who do things regularly, like, you know, the old lemon juice in purified water in the morning, or a lot of people just even get little Silymarin tablets from the health food shop. You know, Silymarin, St Mary's thistle, it just helps to clear the liver. It helps to prevent fatty liver if you take enough of it and that sort of thing.
So the lemon in the morning is quite good.
Yeah, because what it does is increases your hydrochloric acid in the gut. So that actually is beneficial. We need good hydrochloric acid. We don't need bad acid. You know, when everything's fermenting, that's a whole different thing. But what it ends up doing by stimulating the hydrochloric acid in the gut, it activates a whole bunch of your detox pathways. Mm-hmm. So it takes the pressure off the liver by making your gut work better. Well, so the worse your gut works, the more chock-a-block your liver's going to be. If you're not digesting your food because of stress or medications, or stress is a big one. And this is the thing about estrogens as we get older. When we start getting the tummy fat as well, tummy fat has the ability to convert hormones. So tummy fat can convert estrogen in women into testosterone in women, so thus the facial hair and that sort of thing. Right. And the physical things that they might end up with if they've got the testosterones in the system are the abdominal fat, liver toxicity, polycystic ovaries. So there's a few, and as well as anger. Good old, because when women convert the estrogen testosterone, they're much more likely to feel very angry, frustrated, and, you know, get to that level where they're just not able to pull it together. Yeah, so they're acting more like an angry man.
Right.
Yeah, right. And it's scary, you know.
Now, what about man boobs?
Man boobs.
Is it the same sort of thing?
Same sort of thing.
Happens to a male, but different than female.
Absolutely. So same sort of thing with men. Testosterone is healthy if it's a healthy form of testosterone. But as we get older, if your liver isn't metabolizing the testosterone, firstly it can convert into a toxic form of testosterone, which basically has a whole bunch more molecules. It's because it's not being broken down into tiny pieces in the liver, so the chains are getting longer rather than shorter. So therefore your body has a hard time dealing with it. So it's going to end up storing that somewhere. So by the time we're getting something like prostate cancer, we haven't been metabolizing, breaking it down, metabolizing our testosterone for a long time, and the body has to store it somewhere. If it can't eliminate it, you know, through this pathway in the liver, and I think it's about 40% through the poop, 60% through urine, or I might have that backwards, but it's, you know, 40-60. Yeah. And basically then we are more likely to develop things like the man boobs and tumours within those organs that are to do with your reproductive tracts.
Now, can you turn these things around?
Yeah, there's lots of studies these days on different nutrients that help to reverse these things. So a lot of men might have heard, you know, if you start Googling, you'll see things like oysters and pumpkin seeds and things like that. And the reason that they are mentioned when it comes to excess testosterone is because they're high in zinc. Now, zinc is important for several reasons. Firstly, for women and for men, but it helps to convert estrogen into a form that the body can release.
Right.
And also, zinc is part of the molecular starting point for making progesterone. So if you don't have enough zinc as a woman, you're not going to be getting rid of your estrogen in the first half of the cycle. You're not going to be able to be building your progesterone levels to adequate amounts in the second half. For men, zinc is one of the most important nutrients for men. Every multivitamin out there for men should have a decent dose of zinc.
Right.
And they might have nothing else if it says a man's multi, but as long as it's got and I'm
Zinc.
talking a good chunky dose like 50 milligrams or something like that, or maybe even more, but it needs to be a decent dose. If it's got 2.5, it's not going to do a darn thing for your testosterone levels.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it needs to be a good brand and a good form of zinc, because the form is really important. So this is where, if you get the cheapest multi you can get, it's not going to be a good form, because let's face it, they've saved money by choosing forms that are cheap.
So it's the old story. You get what you pay for.
It is. And when we do, so if you can get your zinc levels checked by your doctor, so that could be something to actually start getting minerals and things checked.
Yeah.
People can get their testosterone, estrogen, progesterone checked through their GP and sort of see where these levels are sitting. If there is a history in the family of things like breast cancer, prostate, and they are linked. Breast cancer and prostate cancer within the same family are linked. So there may have been no men in your family with prostate cancer, but there is breast cancer. If you're a man, you need to still think about your prostate as being something to take care of
Sure,
and look
very
at.
important.
And it's funny because tummy fat is a huge thing. So one of our guys a little while ago, he was having some abdominal massage, and that was actually reducing the size of his prostate, because it was inflammation within the abdominal cavity
Yeah.
that seemed to be linked to his high PSA levels. So as he was getting more abdominal massage with his massage therapist, it was reducing the inflammation, and therefore the growth wasn't being fed as much. So, there are simple things you can do. And getting rid of that tummy fat, I know it's not easy, but it's not. Let's face
No, it's
it.
not.
Anyone who's had tummy fat goes, oh man, it's the last thing to disappear, but there are processes that you can do. And quite often, a lot of it's about your insulin levels. Insulin can also drive hormonal tumours and cancers. So, because it's just one of the hormones out there, and if your body's having an issue with hormones, it's another one to take
right.
care of.
Well, there you go, Bill. Bill up
Yeah.
on the Sunshine Coast wanted a couple of answers
Yeah.
there. I think you've answered it beautifully.
Yeah.
I bet he's in the pool swimming now.
Oh,
getting
bet
gaping
he
because
is.
He's loved it.
It's a
Yeah.
gorgeous day.
It's that sort of day, isn't it?
Oh, he's gone for a 10K swim. He'll sort it all out.
No, I think he's probably on his